Hello world, welcome back to part 3, Intro to Bitcoin for Intelligent Investors. That's me, I'm Derek Braid. You can find me at cashflow.ca. You can also find me on Twitter at royal_ars. Let's get on with the show. So we wanted to get into the nitty gritty, and specifically we wanted to talk about the blockchain. We wanted to talk about sidechains and altcoins. So if you do not know what the blockchain is, I would strongly recommend that you visit this link and watch the video. This video is concise and to the point on the technicals of Bitcoin. It's a distributed ledger. It will get into the nitty-gritty of how it works. We're not going to do that here. What I'm going to talk about, however, is the difference between sidechains and altcoins, which at first I thought were a little bit crazy. I wanted to know why Bitcoin was insufficient. And immediately I thought if people were trying to make alternative coins or sidechains, then there must be some deficiencies in Bitcoin. And ultimately, you can think of that as the driving force in one way, and that some of these altcoins were in fact created with the intention of improving the Bitcoin ecosystem. Now, Bitcoin is open source software, so it is capable of pulling in these changes and improving and evolving over time, and it has done so. So, a sidechain is interesting because, unlike an altcoin, which is its own entity, a sidechain is a branch upon Bitcoin. Now, you can consider these Bitcoin by extension, thus, they extend from a sidechain. So, in this case, Bitcoin sidechains can become very popular. And the analogy that was made is in regards to a casino. So you can think of a casino issuing their own chips, which would allow, well, let's assume a branch is created for the purposes of running a casino. You can then issue chips that are convertible to Bitcoin and have your own little universe or sphere on a sidechain. Innovation is good. So, as I mentioned off the top, the purpose of these sidechains is to make improvements and to introduce either new functions or to somehow improve the protocol. There's a prediction that altcoins will eventually fail because of the significant first or prime mover advantage that Bitcoin currently enjoys. Sidechains will prevail over altcoin. And I won't get into the nuances of that, but it's well worth consideration for early adopters of altcoins. Altcoins currently represent about 6% of all digital currency market cap, which is interesting. This is another excellent link to a Bitcoin related resource, and I'll show you the chart. This is from Pantera Capital. This has been a picture that's been going around on the internet for some time, and it does help illustrate what we're doing with sidechains and why they matter. Is you can almost envision a sidechain as a sandboxed environment where you can have different things going on. For example, one practical application of that would be, say, a colored coin. These were things that were talked about back in the day. I believe Namecoin is an example. Don't quote me on that. Now, this again is an interesting opportunity for Bitcoin entrepreneurs when you take a look at how we can use sidechains. One of the major barriers, and this is according to the Financial Times, to wide-scale Bitcoin adoption is, in essence, there's a fixed amount, and that's bad news. What sidechains do is essentially you can now envision Bitcoin as being infinitely divisible. So the supply constraints that were previously innate to Bitcoin, that there would only be 21 million ever in production, those are now lifted because of sidechains and because of sidechain technology. FT was quoted, again, they called the bottom on September the 19th. They said that Bitcoin is done, prices are up about 5%. Its current fixed supply would expose the economy to significant deflationary risks if it were ever widely adopted. Fair enough. But in a recent proposal, on the level of assets, we no longer have a simple one chain, one asset maxim. Individual chains may support arbitrarily many assets, infinitely divisible, even ones that did not exist when the chain was first created. So that is a huge problem that has been solved with innovation on sidechains. And that's just one way that you can take confidence out of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They've had 5 years, 6 years now almost, to work, to hack, and to improve, and here we are. Now, here's the lasting impression. Here's the billion-dollar idea. Businesses and organizations will all adopt their own color coin or alternate coin or token, however you want to view it. Businesses like Walmart that pay billions of dollars on, perhaps not billions, hundreds of millions of dollars on merchant fees per year have a huge economic incentive to adopt something that costs them less. And I would predict that companies like Amazon, Costco, Walmart, any big retailer will soon issue their own alternative currency as a Bitcoin sidechain. So with that juicy tidbit, I will leave you. You can find me on the web. I have a Bitcoin meetup, or you can visit my homepage at cashflow.ca. Cheers.